Hello, my dear fellow brothers and sisters, Christians in Ghana. Some of us are far away, but we follow you at home, and what's going on, especially right now, concerning Christians and Muslims relationship challenges. Of course, everybody must expect that these challenges will arise, especially as each other grows and then the turf gets smaller. There will be war. It shouldn't be so, but unfortunately, because we are human, these things happen. Now, my little advice to Christians in particular, and this advice, the other side follows to the cause strategically. My little advice to you is that obviously some of the things happening inflame passions, and it's very emotional, and I must admit on both sides. Each side, some of those from the other side or this side, either side, say things that are really not pleasant, and they inflame passions. We know that Christians don't take up arms and call for violence when our side is offended, but the other side takes things too personal, and not just personal but theological and doctrinally, because they see things from a theological doctrinal point of view and they get incensed. Whereas the same thing said to us, we don't get incensed because we know who Jesus is to us and who the Holy Spirit is and who God is to us. That aside, I want to advise my fellow Christians in Ghana, please be very, very careful about the trap of getting emotional about this. Let me say it again. My fellow Christians in Ghana, please, with all heart of humility, be very, very cautious, if I may say careful, about becoming emotional about what is going on, because if you get emotional, you lose the battle and you lose the war. Instead of we becoming emotional, let's become strategic. Become strategic. And strategic thinking thinks long term. Emotions think the present term and what is happening that inflames our passions. Strategic thinking is focusing in the long term and being practically focused on steps to take, to own, to possess, and to capture the future. Again, emotions are inflamed, but if you are good, people are calling for Christian counsel, emotions will not work. Emotions will not work. Emotion may work for the other side, but it will not work for us and our Christ and his kingdom, which is superior to every other kingdom. This is a strategy, I believe, and I want to suggest that Christians should focus on instead of passionate emotions. Let me give you just one example, just one. There are many, but just one for today, so I don't stay long. Whereas you and I, Christians, are focused on high expenditure, high budget, major activities in the cities of the country, in the major cities and major populated urban areas where the chunk of our Christian broadcasts, our Christian activity, Christian event, Christian church, Christian conferences, Christian music, Christian worship is concentrated in the city. And a chunk, about 80% of our budget is spent in the cities. Some at the other side don't care about the city so much, although they do active. But we have left behind the villages, the rural areas. They have gone there quietly. They stay there. They farm. They rear their cattle. They live among the community quietly. They preach the gospel. Whereas we have moved to the city. I'm in the city. My children are not likely to go back to, I was born in the village, but my children are not likely to go and live back in the village, or it's not likely. So, myself, taking myself out of the village and into the city, and my children are likely not to go to the village again. So, nature doesn't allow for vacuum. So, who is filling up the vacuum back behind me in the villages, the other side. Whereas you and I probably want a better life, educated life, a more intellectual life, a more upscale Western life. Some people don't care. They go to the villages, they drink the dirty water, they farm, they do menial jobs, and quietly they are preaching, they are winning souls, they are procreating. You and I will give birth to just one wife, maybe 2 or 3 children. They may give birth to marry maybe 2 or 3 or 4 wives. I don't know the number that's allowed for them. And then they give birth to many children. So in the villages, they are populated. There's free HS. They educate their children. They strategically conscientize them, go to school, go to the university, stick to our doctrine, stick to our religion, and then grow your way into influence in the city. So they raise them in the villages, what that we have left behind, they bring them to the cities. They are politicians, they are businessmen, they are educators. Then eventually, so they grow them at the backside of town, bring them this in the place of influence and policy making in the cities. You see the strategy? They are thinking long term. We are thinking short term. That's why I say emotions now will not work. Emotions will not work long term. Just think about what I've said. And my little suggestion is, instead of we spending so much of our activities, our budget, our money, our activities in the cities, and we are still not satisfied, why don't we strategically think of sending some of our best pastors into the rural areas, and then so much of the budget we spend on activities in the cities, spend some of them, and it won't be much, on those good pastors that we send to the rural areas and give them relatively good life, so that they don't miss the cities, so that they don't think they are missing out from the city life. And we cushion them off, and then they live a relatively good life. Then they are focused on doing the work of God in raising the children and the next generation in the rural areas, so that when they also go to school, they become educated, intellectuals, professionals, PhD, politicians, businessmen, and they move to their cities. We know that we are both occupying the cities and not leaving the villages behind. That's a food for thought. That's a food for thought. Now, right here on my Facebook page, I posted a message by Pastor Mensa Otabo. It's on YouTube, but I posted it here. Please find time, listen to it. Listen to that message. It thinks about Christians thinking strategically, not just emotionally. All right, food for thought. My name is Pastor Frank OPOKU-AMOAKO. I'm here in Virginia, driving from Virginia to New Jersey for a wedding. All right, we'll talk again. Think about it. Leave me your comments, okay? God bless you. Bye-bye.